Gentlemen, welcome here on Inkish. How are you guys?
Doing fine, Martin. Good to see you.
Good to see you guys
Hello,
too.
Martin.
And we had a short warm up yesterday just to check that the technology worked. And so far I think the day has turned out okay. I did a few hiccups, but that is like when you handle everything yourself. Sometimes it takes a little effort to get things going in the right way. So before we're going to see some presentation and some films, of course, but maybe we should just start with an introduction. Marco, tell who are you and what do you do?
Um, yeah, sure. I am a product manager here at Hunkeler, the product manager for the book solutions. That's why I'm here. And I'm with Hunkeler for, um, what is it, 11 years now. Started in the R&D. And so I think I have a good mix between the knowledge that I bring with me from the R&D perspective and then from joining the product management later on.
And I will ask you about that in a second. But before we do that, Hans, please introduce yourself as well.
So, my name is Hans Gut. I'm Chief Marketing Officer at Hunkeler. I have been joining Hunkeler actually way back in 1989, actually, but of course had many different roles within Hunkeler during the many years I have been in the graphic arts industry and especially in the digital print finishing.
And if you look back from 1989 till now, you had your 100 years anniversary last year. But if you look at the Hunkler back from even from 1989 till now, what a journey, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I find it personally so um, rewarding and so much changes that it is never or have never been boring over the last 30 plus years in the industry and with Hunkler.
I can tell you an anecdote that has nothing to do with this industry, but I can tell you that my father experienced change more than you have ever changed. When he went to school and he was a young boy, and then he went back, his mom and dad has moved from their house to a new house without telling him. So that is change.
Indeed.
But that now he's passed away, and that's many years ago. But I'm just thinking, when you talk about journeys and change, I think this beats it, right?
Well, it
Yeah.
also shows, that change is something that has happened in the past and we experience it today and it will happen in the future as well.
Yeah. And Marco, now I just have to get back to the question because coming from R&D to now to product management, do you also visit customers?
If I visit customers,
Yeah.
yes, I have the chance to go out and see customer sites, visit customers, and yeah, then I think the questions you want to ask is whether I had to, how do I say it? I sometimes have to be careful that I don't answer as an R&D guy probably, because that's still my background, and I worked in the R&D for quite a few years. So yeah, it was a change, and I had to adapt. But I think, or hopefully, I'm doing fine. But you have to ask Hans about that.
I would not ask Hans about it. I would just ask a customer next time we're filming a Hunkler customer. That is way more interesting for me, to be honest. No, just a joke aside. But I tell you, the reason why I was asking was I did an online interview with a marketing guy called G from France just a few weeks ago. And he said that basically people working in marketing that has never been involved in sales, or people that work in marketing that is not frequently seeing customers, they should not be allowed to go to work. And the reason why I say this is just because we can have all the good ideas in the lab, but when the day is over, we need to bring something to market that can make our customers richer and more profitable and more smart and things like that. So I was just curious about it. I knew the answer, I would say, but I was just curious about it anyway. So today has been a quite hectic day because we have been since 8:30 this morning. We have seen so many different kinds of technologies and things like that. Hunkler, Hans, that goes a little bit back to you because when you started, I assume that most of the business for Hunkler were more in the transactional business, right?
That's correct. Of course, Hunkeler started with digital print finishing now 41 years ago. So last year with the 100-year anniversary, we also celebrated 40 years of digital print
Oh,
finishing.
nice.
And it all started, of course, with transactional application, meaning really bank statements, invoices, things like that. And of course, since then it has evolved. And over the last 2 years, actually, book production is our largest
Oh,
segment, or
really?
the
Okay.
segment with the largest turnover. So the market has clearly changed quite a bit over the last 20 or 40 years,
40 years,
but
yeah.
for now a little bit over 20 years, digital
Yeah.
print finishing is all what Hunkeler
Yeah.
does in the different segments, of course.
I remember when I was writing a blog post for Hunkeler last year, when I came to the development of books, because I think that for some time there was a lot of people that thought that the book market would be decreasing. But it is actually increasing for a lot of different reasons. First of all, the digital transformation on the printing side has given publishers opportunity to print backlogs. Now you can take in more narrow titles because you don't have to print 5,000 copies and put it in a warehouse, and self publishers and photo books and all that kind of thing. Is that just, in quotation, just a trend that has been water on your mill, or has it also been something that you have been the leader in? Because I mean, the reason I'm asking is because you will not ask for books of one if you cannot produce them, right? So what comes first, the hen or the egg, right?
Well, I think the demand has been there for a while, and we have customers going back 20 years that already did book printing, still with laser printers actually, on cut stack lines. The lines were just not automated, where every stack of sheets basically for a book had to be taken manually and transferred then to the binding equipment and so on. So the demand for shorter runs and now even book of one
Yeah.
has definitely increased. And with that, actually, there also have been a lot of new business opportunities to be able to print books that never go out of print anymore, or produce books that have been out of print. Of course, the whole segment of self-publishing, photo books, and so on. And I believe there is still, and Marco will show then some statistics about the book market in his part of the presentation. There is still a lot of, let's say, production capacity or books printed in offset today. And with shorter runs, more and more will actually be transferred over to digital print and digital print finishing in an automated fashion. Because the other segment we see, of course, in the market is then labor shortage. So
Yeah.
there are not that many bookbinders anymore. You don't find really printers that learned the job from the ground
That's
up
true.
anymore. So that means also the equipment that customer want to buy has to be more automated, has to be easier to operate or to run jobs. And that is exactly what Hunkeler has been working on and is selling today: automated, connected book finishing solutions for short run all the way down to book of one.
And Marco, I don't know how long time ago you stopped in R&D, but I have an R&D question to you. I was just wondering, what Hans is talking about is, of course, one of the major mega trends of our industry, and books of one is, of course, I think it must be an ideal if you with a high productivity and a high profit can make books of one or products of one. From an engineering perspective, I mean, how big a challenge is it basically? Because I mean, you want to have printers that runs faster and faster, and you want to have machines that are so flexible as possible, formats, paper, anything, right? And I was just thinking the pressure on an R&D department must be quite tough, because I mean, basically the market asks for more and more all the time, that you have delivered the most fantastic solution. Yes, it could be nice if you could do it a little bit faster, a little bit better, and a little bit cheaper, right?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, it's very challenging to achieve what basically our board and our management
Oh, so it's the board and the management is not the market.
wants to
Okay.
develop. And to be honest with you, I think that's what Hunkeler makes quite well, or not well, fantastic. I would say that we set the bar really high in what we expect of our own modules, about our own solutions. And I mean, if you don't set your goals really high, you probably won't be the technology leader in an industry, and to be able to achieve what we achieved in the last decades. And that's why, of course, it's challenging, but I think it's the right way to go. And I hope and I think that we did a great job so far, and will do in the future as well.
I will say that I'm so fortunate working with a lot of your customers because you are a great supporter of Inky. So we have the opportunity to go and see a lot of your customers around the world. But even the jobs that you don't send us for some of your, I wouldn't say competitors, but from the print OEMs, you see Hunkeler equipment in an enormous amount of locations, basically, right? And I think that you have done, and I think that let's say the cherry on the cake is also when you have events like the Hunkeler Innovation Days, where so many people from all over the world come and visit you and your partners to see what is the next thing. And I remember that last session was with MBO, and they were showing something from Kohlhammer, which is a printing company in Germany. And I met Stefan Francisci at Hunkeler Innovation Days, and he said to me, "This is the first time I'm here. I never thought that all these possibilities are, I mean, that you can do them, right?" It was a total eye-opener for him, basically, right? And I have it actually on an interview from one of the HID interviews, and I just think it's so fantastic because that is part of what Hunkeler also is. I mean, of course, you make an event to sell equipment, but it is also a learning thing, right? And it is something that educating the market for what is coming. I mean, of course, you focus on what is available now, but it is also showing a little bit on what is in the future path, right, Hans?
Yeah, that's correct. And we also truly believe, I mean, nobody can do it on their own or alone, because we, as an industry, we have to work together. Sometimes we even work, of course, with competitors, or
Even
we
that.
have partner companies that have competitive products
So it is.
or different solution. And, you know, that all is for the greater good of our customers, that we work together to bring solutions to them that make them profitable, because only then they can invest in new equipment, satisfy their customers, and we can really change the industry from, let's say, traditional printing to more digital printing, faster, more environmental friendly, and of course, faster turnaround times. That's what our customers, or actually the customers of our printers, really need and want.
And I say that buy as many Hunkeler equipment as possible, because every time you buy something, there's an opportunity for me going filming them, and I like that. So no, that was just a joke. I think that we are about to get started. I think, as far as I remember, Marco, you were starting today, right?
Exactly.
So Hans and I, we will disappear. And I don't know if Hans is going to pick up some coffee, but I will have to listen to you, because I will be the critical guy with all the critical questions. So I will listen to you in the background. If you have any technical things, you just tell me, right?
Perfect.
Sounds good. Maybe just one word. Hunkeler, we will talk a little bit about our book solutions, the different book solutions, because not all the customers have the same needs. So we'll talk a little bit about the market first, or Marco will talk about the market of the book customers, then about our new Starbook Plow Folder solution. And then in the second part, I will explain an inline cut stack solution that is connected with a perfect binder. And toward the end, also say a few words about Hunkeler for the companies that do not know Hunkeler, to give a little bit of background of Hunkeler.
Fantastic. Thank you. You did my job here, so I'm sorry for that. And just a technical thing, a few things. If anybody watching this have any questions in the live session, questions can be asked at LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, and they will appear here for me, and then I will bring them forward to Marco and Hans. And if any if anybody wants to ask anything. And for you, Hans and Marco, I have a backup of your films here. So in case there is a technical hiccup from Switzerland, you just let me know and I will fire them when you ask me to.
Will do.
All right. See you in a second. Okay, great.
Marco?
So I hope you can see my screen now. Perfect. Good. So thank you first of all for having us, Morten. In this first part of our session, we would like to talk about the Starbook Plow Folder solution that we launched at the Hunkeler Innovation Days earlier this year. But before we start talking about the solution, you have already mentioned it, or we discussed about the book market and the shift or the change that happened in the book market. So I would like to look at the book market first. And to start with, here we have a diagram from IT Strategies that was presented at the Inkjet Summit 2023. And I think it shows nicely how the US book market has developed over the years. And what certainly stands out is that the amount of offset printed book pages decreased over the years. And although it more or less stabilized in recent years, the forecast expects the amount of offset printed book pages to decrease in the near future. And the inkjet printed book pages, on the other hand, increased significantly, especially within the last 5 to 10 years. And the forecast expects this trend to continue, which is really nice for us, obviously. And I think this diagram is quite representative for the shift that happens in the book market, and therefore really also shows the importance of the book market for our industry. Hunkeler, we have recognized the importance of this market many years ago, as Hans has already mentioned. We have a lot of established book solutions, such as the Plow Folder book solution, which we have installed successfully over 100 times globally. And of course, the technology evolves and the needs of the customers change. That's also what Hans already mentioned. And this is why we as Hunkeler have extended the book solution portfolio continuously over the years to make sure that we can provide the right solution for the needs of our customers. And the newest additions to the Hunkeler book portfolio are the two Starbook book solutions that you see on top of the slide and that were presented at the Hunkeler Innovation Days this year. And these two Starbook book solutions are our new next-gen book solutions that are designed to meet the needs of the customers. And not only for today, but we also design solutions so the customers can remain competitive in the future. And I would like to talk about both the Starbook book solutions, but because of the limited time, obviously today we want to focus on the new flagship, the Starbook Plow Folder book solution. The Starbook Plow Folder is our new high-speed book solution running with speeds of up to 250 meters per minute and comes with a semi-automated setup and changeover, which basically reduces the manual operator intervention, increases the uptime, and enables to process a wide range of formats economically, regardless of the run length, and as Hans has already mentioned, even for book of one production. Ease of operating and maintenance were other factors that were really important to us during the development. So besides an easy and intuitive operator interface, you might have noticed the largely coverless design of the Starbook Plow Folder, which you can see in the picture. And this was really important because this concept allows operators and technicians easy access to the individual tools and units. And with that, it is minimizing time lost when manual operator intervention is required. As already said, so the automation reduces the operator intervention significantly, which is really important for future solutions. But there are still operator intervention necessary, but with the easy accessibility and easy operating, we want to make sure that the time loss is minimized as much as we can. But to give you a better idea of the Starbook Plow Folder, I would like to show a short video that Morten and the Inkish team have recorded during the Hunkeler Innovation Days this year. So Morten, could you please start video 1 for me? This right here is our new Starbook Plow Folder book solution, which produces glued book blocks like this one, from 4, 6 and 8 page signatures. And we can run with this book solution with a speed of up to 250 meters per minute. Besides the increased performance, we have also extended the format range of our products, we optimized processes, and most importantly, we added automation. With the semi-automation, we can process a changeover of different folding pattern, for example, from a 2 to a 3-up product in about 3 minutes. Also, this book solution has an output of up to 2,000 single books or stacks per hour. When we process single books, the books are always delivered in first in, first out order, which is very important for post-inline integration. And that's exactly what we have here with this solution at the Hunkeler Innovation Days. Here we have another new module of the Hunkeler portfolio, which is called Book Sorting Module BSM. With this module, we can sort up to 2,000 books per hour into these filling stations. This is a modular solution and can be extended to the customer's needs. And also the sorting criteria of the books can be defined by the customer himself. The books that are sorted, for example, with soft and hardcover books, are then delivered into these boxes in here and output onto a conveyor belt. And from the conveyor belt, the books can then be delivered to the destination of the customer's needs.
It's all yours again.
Thank you, Morten. Great video. So this slide once again in the video, so I won't go into all of them, but there are two specifications that I want to highlight. And that's the productivity with up to 2,000 single books or stacks per hour, and the first in, first out output of the book blocks. As mentioned in the video, the first in, first out output is very important for post-inline integration. For example, into a perfect binder or other equipment like our new book sorting module BSM that was shown in the video too. The reason why this is so important is that this simplifies the workflow and enables to process the book blocks in the exact same order as they are printed. In combination with the output of up to 2,000 single books per hour, this enables a high productivity without the need of an additional destacking of book blocks before they are fed to the perfect binder. But such a post-inline solution into a perfect binder is just one of the many configurations that are possible with the Starbook Plow Folder. So let's take a look at the different configurations that are possible with the new solution. Here you can see a very much simplified overview of the possible configurations of the Starbook Plow Folder. And I would like to show a few configurations that will hopefully help to understand the possibilities that Hunkeler offers to the customers with the new Starbook Plow Folder solution. So the first Simplest configuration is the nearline solution, consisting of an unwinding module, which Hunkeler has various unwinding modules, like the standard UW8 unwinding module, or for example, our new RX8 media splicer, which is a non-stop solution in case a non-stop solution is desired for the production. The outfeed of the book blocks in this configuration is onto a conveyor belt, and this configuration basically allows to decouple the individual process steps and to reduce the complexity of the solution. Or, for example, is an option if the solution has to be separated for space reasons. The Starbook Plow Folder can also be put inline to a digital printing system, and Hunkeler has a lot of experience with printer inline solutions and have a proven interface to most of today's digital printers. And as an additional value for customers, we are also able to provide our webcam, our web inspection WI8, which is a high performance system for production monitoring and quality control. We have already talked about the possibility of post-inline integration, which is shown here, for example, into a perfect binder, or into a new book sorting module BSM, which enables to sort the book blocks by customer-defined criteria, like we heard in the video, for example, sorting of hard and soft cover books. And of course, we also have several software solutions that will help customers get the most of their solutions. And now by changing on this new slide, I want to highlight why it is so important for us to show you the flexibility of our solution. Because Hunkeler has a vision to shape the book factory of the future, together with our customers and with our partners. And for that, we want to extend our portfolio, or let's say the Hunkeler brands, which you see here, the digital web finishing, digital sheet finishing, and the smart logistic solutions. So we want to help create highly productive and efficient end-to-end solutions for our customers. And we are sure that the Starbook Plow Folder will be an important puzzle piece within this future book factory with the high productivity, the flexibility, and of course with the automation. Finally, I would like to highlight 5 points in regards of the Starbook Plow Folder, and that are the high availability, which we achieve with process optimizations, the performance of this solution, both in speed and output, the reliability, thanks to the automation and the reduced operator intervention, and the flexibility in terms of formats and configuration possibilities. And finally, I would like to highlight the excellent book block quality, because with Hunkeler solutions, our customer can produce excellent book blocks for soft and hardcover books on the same solution. And with that, I'm at the end of this first part of the presentation and would like to hand it over to you again, Morten.
We can't hear you yet, Morten.
Yeah, it's
Now, here we go.
Most used word during the COVID is you're muted. I think we agreed that now Marco and I, we have a little chat, or are you also joining us, Hans?
Go ahead, that's fine.
Great. So, I mean, it's not a big secret that I'm a big fan of books, and I'm also a big fan of how they are produced today, because as much as I love a fantastic offset printed book that is folded and bound in the good old-fashioned way, I still also can't help think about how efficient books can be made when I look at the technology you provide. Marco, as a product manager for the book finishing kind of things, where do you see the biggest bottleneck in a printing company producing books today?
I mean, that's not an easy question to answer, because I would say it really depends on the production of this specific customer, basically. So it really depends what kind of books are produced, what the volumes are, and a lot of other factors, obviously, that come into play when you want to answer this question. So I couldn't give you a good answer on this, but would have to say that there are several possible bottlenecks, probably, that can be the bottleneck for a specific customer depending on his products.
So let me rephrase. Is the software or the hardware the biggest bottleneck?
Really good questions you're asking me.
Sorry about that. Okay, let me
Yeah.
ask you, and then you can extend on it. Because the reason I'm asking is because I take that if you buy a new digital web-based print engine, no mention of any brands, then nobody can be upset with me. And then basically you put that on some Hunkeler equipment. I'm pretty sure that if you have full capacity used on it 24/7, 365, then you can, if you're not too stupid in your pricing, you can make money on it, right? But I'm just saying that, at some point where you say that, okay, everybody is moving, or not everybody, but a lot of people are moving from offset to digital. And I think a lot of the potential customers of Hunkeler and web digital engines right now are maybe in like, what does it take to go there? What are the most difficult things? Because if you have books of one, you don't have salespeople that go and knock the door and say, hey, can I sell you one book, right? So that is just one example. You have to change your entire business model, your entire plan of how to do this in order to really create the value that Hunkeler gives to customers in this. So that's why I'm saying that, okay, if you have, I take that if you print 200 books on an OEM printer and your equipment, it's pretty easy, right? I mean, you have to learn it, but it will be done, right? But if you have to print 200 books of one, it requires a lot of changes. There's a software to handle it. There's a sales organization that needs to be changed. There's maybe the logistics that you're also starting to offer that is part of it. And I'm just trying to remember that when we do these kind of events like this live event here, I think it's great to hear about the equipment, but I also hope and think this is something that can support people buying your equipment. And therefore, I'm just saying that let's try to identify what are the obstacles to get into it.
I mean, basically, you said it right. Although it's both book production and printing and finishing, you would expect it to be quite similar, but it isn't from how you process all of your books and how you prepare your workflow and so on. So as you said, it's basically if you change from or swap from offset to digital, it's like learning how to work with a digital environment. And basically that's probably the biggest challenge to get into digital print finishing.
And then now I'm a printer, and I've decided that okay, I go all in. I buy X print engine, and I want to work with Hunkeler to make books. How do I get started? I mean, how do I get to having an up and running operation?
Yeah, Hunkeler basically offers really consulting services to help customers also really move from offset to digital, because digital is really a different mindset. You cannot just take all the people that have been working for you for 20 years in offset printing even in sheets, and then you start folding and then collating and make books. It's really a different mindset. Of course, there are different type of digital printers that produce books. So one segment is, of course, you really do medium runs. So you do, instead of the 5,000 books in offset printing, sheet fed probably, you move them over to a continuous feed inkjet system. And the advantage is really that at the end of the line, you get already a collated book that is controlled, that you and holds together. That's actually a book block that is ready then to go to post finishing, like binding, trimming, and so on. The big challenge then comes if you want to start doing print on demand, meaning the 5,000 books you print, every book is different. That, of course, requires a lot more software and workflow solution to make that happen. It's a much, much bigger challenge, of course. First of all, to create the orders or to receive the orders and then process these orders, because with 5,000 orders, you also have to make 5,000 delivery notes, 5,000 invoices and all that. And if you have one order with 5,000, you only have one delivery sheet and one invoice. So these are really different type of businesses almost. The equipment may be very well exactly the same.
But the business
again,
model is different.
But the business model is different.
Marco, if I go down to something that is, let's say that we go the other way around. Let's say that we have a small cut sheet machine, right? Digital cut sheet machine, whatever brand again. And now you want to go into role-based. Some of the things when I come to Hunkeler Innovation Days and I see these big roles that needs to be handled, is that something that people are asking about? How do I move these to make sure that you have? Because sometimes when you come to like the really big web offset companies, you see a crane taking the paper, but here you often see people just rolling it on the floor on a small trolley. I'm trying to say, okay, we are moving into a new world, and I think that the change from the known to the new is always where you want to learn, right?
I think it's a learning as well, and then I would probably answer this question by referring to what Hans said. If you get into something new, into a new business, new solutions, new way of processing, then I think first and foremost it would make sense to talk to the vendors so they can really consult you and help you understand how you can make a first step into this kind of production. And I think that's what we, for example, as Hunkeler can provide. And to make that move, speaking with us certainly helps.
I'm sure about that. So last question to you, Marco, and maybe Hans wants to add to that as well, because we also need to see Hans's, I want to see Hans's presentation, but I don't know about you guys, but and I don't know, you probably know because you have all these relationships with the OEMs, but nobody talks to journalists about secrets for some strange reason. Well, we have to work on that. Okay. Drupa, I believe there will be quite a few cut sheet inkjet devices there. Probably in B2, maybe even B1 format. I have no idea whether I'm right or wrong, but I'm just thinking that changes the landscape a little bit again, doesn't it?
Yes. I think you are right too, by the way, regarding more cut sheet inkjet devices. I'm pretty sure we will see them. Hunkeler has also started introducing cut sheet finishing devices. You certainly will see more of those and new solutions at Drupa from Hunkeler, because traditionally, you are right, book printing has been predominantly done on cut sheet devices. And cut sheet devices have, of course, first of all, they are known to many customers because they are cut sheet houses. They know how to do that. It gives greater material or media flexibility.
Yeah, because I
and
was
so
about
on.
to say that might be one of the
And
biggest reasons for doing it, right?
absolutely, absolutely. And we recognize that as well. And Hunkeler will, in the not too distant future, demonstrate or showcase solutions that are exactly made for such production environment.
Without saying,
Because
Hans, without saying anything, because of obviously you are to some applications, but can you, in your opinion, and I don't know if you can say that without saying what you know, but I was just wondering because the discussions, I remember I had it with Canon when they introduced the IX series and I series, because I was like, everybody was like, a relatively fast inkjet machine, but the cut sheet size was B3. And everybody was like, yeah, but it's like we have in the offset where we have B2 and B1. And it seems that, you know, if you look at the Indigo, it's B2. If you look at the Z75, it's B2. If you look at, I mean, a lot of the machine. Do you think that now when we talk about format, that B2 will be the dominant, or will there also be B1 digital? So what do you think there will be like on the cut sheet size will be the dominant, if you can say anything about it without saying anything?
yeah, the biggest growth we clearly see on the B3 format size
B3,
because it's still easy size to handle.
You don't
So
have too many
basically,
print heads and things like that as well.
A4 oversized or 4A5 pages or sheets on there. Hunkeler, we believe actually that smaller signatures have an advantage when creating a book, because when you basically fold a B1 sheet and you only have 2 or 3 pages on there and the rest is white paper, meaning you have a lot of white pages in a book or waste that you have to cut out somehow.
Plus the handling of the perforations and the air and static electricity, whatever you can have of these kind of things, right? Yeah.
So B3 has an advantage in that, but of course it's not as productive as a B2 size sheet is. But certainly we see the second fastest growing segment is definitely B2 size inkjet cut sheet presses. And there are one particularly B1 size sheet, but I believe for book printing, the market or the segment is not quite there that it will be used much for book printing.
I agree.
I think it's more a size for packaging printing and things like that. But I think in commercial printing and book printing, that mainly B3 and B2 more and more in the future will be used on the cut sheet segment.
It will be interesting to go to Drupa and see that. But thank you very much, Hans and Marco. Hans, now it's your turn to show your presentation so we can get everything done before we have our next online here. So take it away.
Thank you very much. So I hope you are seeing my presentation. Now, the second presentation I want to show to you is if we go back to the presentation that Marco did showing the Hunkeler book solutions. I'm showing to you the solution at the bottom, the roll to stack solution. Now, the roll to stack solution is part basically of the digital web finishing solution. Of course, Hunkeler also offers digital sheet finishing solution, logistic solutions, which is basically compatible with digital web finishing solutions as well as digital sheet finishing solution. And we offer global customer services. Global customer services are really not just spare parts and repair service, but it's also really consulting services, because we clearly see that customers that want to move from offset, from conventional printing to digital printing, have a need or have a lot of questions how I do that. What do I have to look for? how do I organize such a new department? What type of people do I need? What sort of equipment and software do I need to make that happen? And in that regard, really consulting is an important segment to tell or help customers find the right solutions. Now, web finishing is basically everything that Hunkeler combines from rolls. So everything that comes from rolls and is printed in a continuous feed fashion belongs to the digital web finishing segment. That's an area Hunkeler has over 40 years of experience. And today already we are in the 8th generation of machines for that segment. The applications, Hunkeler is of course not only in publishing, so in book printing. We have started with transactional, go into trans-promo, direct mail, commercial print, security print, finishing, pharma printing, and even special solutions like bingo, cards, and booklets, and things like that. Now, the roll-to-stack solution is really a high-performance finishing line that can not only, of course, do book application, but it really is for everything digital, commercial printing. It can produce really from lightweight paper all the way to postcards and heavy paper in 1 to 4 up in post across the web. The specification of our cut stack line is really running from up to 180 meters, and paperweight that line can process because we are basically sheeting a web into cut sheet products is 40 to 300 GSM, and the format length is also completely variable, really from, let's say, 5-inch postcards all the way up to B2 plus posters that can be produced. The features, or what we are stand for, is really the gentle paper transports, because this is especially important for commercial print or for color books. On glossy paper, for example, we use vacuum systems to really control the paper from the in-feed all the way to the sheeted product. And of course, we can cut and trim the web basically full bleed, so meaning cut out across the web, and of course doing trimming and slitting with the web. Something that is unique is really our precise rotary cutting technology, where we can, of course, divert also cleaning pages or waste paper automatically, and we can change format lengths on the fly with our DynaCut system that really allows to produce different book lengths on the fly. The operator doesn't have to do any changeovers. The cutter as well as the stacker basically change automatically for the different cutting lengths of the product. That really reduces paper waste at the end, because not all the books have the same size, and they don't have to be then trimmed in the 3-knife trimmer after binding. We can already basically cut the web into the right lengths for the different sheets and signatures that are needed for a book. Here we also have different stacker options, then stackers that go up to 482 millimeters, but then we also have a stacker that can go up to the 762 millimeters or the B2 plus format for posters, for example. And we are also compatible with a sheet overpass, so that we can transfer sheets not just on a conveyor belt on the stacker. We also can transfer them in a cut stack line automatically, either into a buckle folder or into a stitcher 4-stitched booklet. So with that combination, it really allows to do stitched booklets for, let's say, documents or brochures that can be stitched that are fairly small. And we can at the same time do basically stacks for books that are then perfect bound. Some economic aspects with the new Hunkeler Generate Cut Stack line: performance increase, reduced service cost, higher module availability, and of course, reduced setup time. There are a number of different configurations that are possible in the cut stack line. For example, it can add a dynamic perforator to do coupons or to do a tier of perforation in a book. Then we also have the ability to add a web merger or a web folder that is also used often for book production to create basically 4-page signatures that are then cut and stacked to build book blocks. With the Hunkeler Cut Stack line, it's really all about the flexibility for format variable products and, of course, media flexibility as well to produce really product from lightweight paper like really pharma booklets all the way to photo books and heavy-duty postcards, calendars, or posters on the same line. Couple of words about Hunkeler. Hunkeler is a family-owned company, the third generation, founded 1922 in Switzerland, headquartered in Vicon. That's pretty much in the center of Switzerland. We are the world market leader for digital production, print finishing, have 100 plus years of experience in paper processing and 40 years plus in digital print finishing, and have, as you mentioned, Morten, you see Hunkeler almost all around the world, really, from Australia, all over Asia, Europe, North America, all the way down to Argentina on the American continent with 7,000 installed systems worldwide. The benefit with Hunkeler is really we stand for quality and innovation that really brings investment security to our customers, then the independent. So you are not relying basically on one vendor that may have the best solution for just one of the different segments. Hunkeler is independent and integrates with many other partners solutions for binding, for trimming, and so on. And the reliability of our products and the control mechanism, the web inspection, the tracking that we offer, because the more the system is automated, the more you also have to be able to rely on that what the machine does is actually quality checked. And if something goes wrong, it notifies the operator, or even better, creates automatic reprint files so that at the end, the product that goes out is 100% quality controlled and correct. We are partnering with all the different printer partners and also with a number of different finishing partners as listed on here in the presentation. That basically concludes my presentation for today. Maybe one thing we can do, Morten, is I forgot or I did not show the video.
The video, should we do that now?
I suggest we have a few minutes left and let's go to the video so that we can showcase that to our audience.
You will get it now.
Thank you. So such an integrated solution with the Hunkeler cut stack line with inline perfect binder is a great example that you actually can reduce material laying somewhere around, especially loose leaf stacks, because you can transfer them automatically into a perfect binder. The perfect binder that we showed in the videos from Horizon, which really chalks all the book block stacks and then binds them in line. And of course, the binder then can be connected to an inline trimmer for a finished end product. There is also a perfect match in terms of speed. For example, we produce 450 stacks that come out, or single books, times 3 in 3 up is 1,350, and that's exactly capacity, for example, of that Horizon binder that can do this number of books per hour.
Fantastic. We are running out of time. I just got one message from a guy, Tinus Grobler. He is writing, finally someone asked a question on total workflow. It is an easy answer in my opinion. Implementation of hardware is easy. Software takes so much longer time. And it is not a question, it's a statement. Gentlemen, I just want to say thank you very much for your time here on Inkish. And then I will throw you out because I have the only other one that comes close to you when it's competition, that is Tech Now is now waiting in the green room, and I just want to thank you very much for your time here on Inkish, and for everybody who wants to see the replays, they will be ready tomorrow morning, so you can see each of them as you wish. So thank you, Hunkeler. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.